the same thing. Like, and that's what development is. We set trends and people adapt to it. Take, for example, the internet. Or our phones. Our phones are just representations of communication. It's not real. When it came before, it wasn't widely accepted, but right now, everyone has a phone. Everyone uses the internet. And for me, it was just figuring out what in my life I could pretty much challenge and do better. And that's what led me here. Yeah. Currently, I'm an NFT artist. I spoke in New York on Thursday at the NFT NYC conference on the art I was doing and also the work I'm doing with NFTs and farming. And these are very interesting fields which do not necessarily pair well together. Like, you don't hear this happening anywhere else. Also, I run a tech startup, a fintech in Ghana called Utri Technologies. We're happy to be supporting this event. And I'm a mechanical engineer, so that's it. And that's the thing about knowledge, like schooling and everything and creativity. Everyone's a creator, and it's just about picking the information you have now and applying it to your life and applying it to everyone around you and just making something out of it. So that's my story.
I want to come back to you, Honor.
How many of you have heard of NFTs? By hands up. Okay. How many of you understand what NFTs are? Okay. You have a good number here. Okay. So for those who don't know, I'll just give a brief run and compare it to the internet. So, what's the internet? The internet is just a connection of computers to aid in communication and transfer of data. That's pretty much it. And when it comes to the blockchain, what the blockchain does is the blockchain acts as a ledger for transactions between computers.
Marcel, before you go ahead, can you tell us what blockchain is? Because you lost me from internet to blockchain.
Okay. So the blockchain is it's a ledger, like I was explaining here. So the blockchain is a ledger, a transactional ledger for recording transactions. Okay, I give Albert $50. It records the time, records the conditions for the transaction, it records his wallet address, my wallet address, and there are multiple kinds of blockchains. I'm just giving a very high level, service level explanation of it, just so I can make my point with it. And so, same way the internet works, where you have like individuals connecting to each other via phones, etc. It's pretty much the same way NFTs work. What NFTs are, it's just a digital asset of sort. And this digital asset is bound by what we call a smart contract. And what a smart contract is just the set of rules under which the transaction has to be completed, or the set of rules under which the transaction exists. So me transacting with Albert, it means anyone in this room could go there and view it. Like it's one source of truth. It's designed to not be it's designed to be immutable. The internet, if you put something there, you can go back and change it. On the blockchain, you can't change it. And so, keeping this in mind, are you following? Are you all following?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah. So keeping this in mind, we wanted to apply this to farming. And we all know what farming is, right? Exactly, growing food, putting seeds in the ground, letting it grow. We cultivate it, we harvest it, we make food out of it, we eat, and the cycle continues. That's something we can understand. Same thing, when the internet started, human beings communicate with each other. We talk to each other, we say hi when we meet, we say hello, etc. What happened was, mobile phones just became an interface for that. And that's the same way we are using NFTs as an interface for the farming we're doing. And I'm an NFT artist. You guys should check out my work, Marcel Kajan on Instagram. Yeah. So I'm an NFT artist, and I wanted to be a farmer. I just wanted to go into farming because I believe it's an essential backbone of human life. Everyone eats. Every single person eats. I mean, we're all looking forward to, at least I'm looking forward to tonight's cocktail. I'm sure something delicious will be there.
I promise the food is good.
Yeah, the lunch was good. The lunch was good. Yeah. So what then happens is we wanted to apply NFTs as a transactional layer to say, given the characteristics are listed, that it's immutable, it's recorded in a ledger which can be verified by various nodes. So, in the way that the internet, this computer can communicate with this computer, it doesn't necessarily open it up to the other communities seeing it. In the NFT space, the crypto space, blockchain, everyone can see what's going on. So it's very transparent. And as an NFT artist, I was trying to raise money to complete this farming project, because if any one of you has a farm, was trying to go into that, it's very capital intensive. I thought I could do it, and I realized, whew. So in trying to raise capital for it, a lot of shower thoughts also, I was like, why don't I just merge the two and raise money using NFTs? Because what we're trying to do at Congate Farms is to become the forerunners. Just like Apple introduced the dongle and forced all of us to use it, I'm also trying to introduce an NFT layer, transactional layer, on top of what farming would be, on top of what investing in farming could be. So that's just one aspect of it. And what's interesting about the farming project is it's fractionalized farming. So with the challenge I faced, which was in raising capital, I had some money, I wanted to invest it, but I was limited by how much I could do, because I couldn't afford everything I needed. What we are doing is we are lowering the entry level for investing into agriculture by, and this is where we just take a piece of land, break it down into fractions. That's fractionalized farming. On each fraction, we assign what we call a token, a digital asset, a token. So this is where NFTs come into play. So that digital token contains, first off, the details on the land. It contains details on the transactions, like the holders of the land, who owns it. And from where I am, which is Accra, Ghana, in Ghana specifically, we have there are a lot of cases of land litigation and people not being viewed by their land, who owns land, and etc. This solves that. You're able to verify, everyone is able to verify that Congate Farms owns this land, has broken it down into 100 pieces, and that's what the blockchain also allows us to do, to break it down. Has broken down to 100 pieces. Each piece is going for X amount. These are the exact coordinates to that piece, that fraction of the land. It's all exists inside the smart contract. When you go online and you click buy on any of these, pretty much, I would say, NFT platforms or to buy NFT platforms, you then be able to execute it. So I'll have an asking price for it. So that's included in the contract. If Albert clicks, or say, any of the panelists or any of you click on buy, what then happens is there's a verification. With the buy, clicking on buy doesn't meet the standards I've set for the contract for that fraction of land. And that includes how much money I want. So it's going to verify, does Albert have enough money in his account to actually afford it? If yes, and if it's on sale, because I can also take it off sale and put it on sale. All these things it's very manageable. It's so interesting. Once he meets these criteria and he clicks on buy, what happens is that the land is transferred to him. But it's transferred to him as a digital asset. And everyone in the world can verify that, okay, Albert owns maybe 2 fractions of Congate Farms, or Tamara owns maybe 5 fractions of Congate Farms. And so, in a sense, what we also get in return is enough money to also expand the farm. And so far, by doing this, we did this in a very manual manner. We were able to raise about $50,000. We expanded in 1 year from 20 acres to over 100 acres in 2 regions, the eastern and the central region of Ghana. And so you see, this is me trying to put things in place to make it accessible for, I guess, the development of Africa and getting more people interested in agriculture. Because also looking at that's one component they're trying to include, which is carbon credits. That a lot of people now are trying to offset their carbon emissions. Be able to do that using this platform we are building, and with that, be able to embed what's it called? Okay, I'll take you on to the next one.
I think for people who want more information, as you said, you get the cocktail, so you can get more information. Okay, since it's a development conference, we're going to take it up a notch, and we're going to look at policy as regards arts, sports, and culture. And I'm going to start with you on this, Emeka. We've heard a lot about the African Free Trade Continental.
Because there's a lot of publicity being made now. Ghana is everywhere now, in terms of the arts, in terms of music. I mean, not so much as Nigeria, but but Ghana is there now, and in terms of also the experience people even have when they visit, like that's a big thing. Like for people to say, okay, I want to visit Ghana, in terms of the history, in terms of the past lives of the indigenous people. Like people want to come and now experience it. It's not just and Ghana is a pretty small country compared to other countries in the region. So like Nigeria, Ghana is pretty small, but it packs a punch. Yeah, and you see artists like Amako Boafo. You see people like Joseph Iwada who started like a art residency program, which I was part of. And what it pretty much does is he upskills art, and he upskills artists and connects them with the relevant markets and the proper international brands. I mean, through that, I'm also here right now. So all these things are making people want to come. You have people like Vic Mensa, you have Chance the Rapper, you have Beyonce even hiring certain videographers in Africa, from Ghana actually, to help us shoot like a music video. And you realize that now it's coming home. It's pretty much coming home. Big brands are now reaching out, looking for local creatives. I work with an agency which employs African artists. It's called Meaningful Gigs, and which is led by also, it's being run by Ghanaians. And Ghana is getting out there. These policies that the government put in place, I mean, there's nothing perfect. There's nothing perfect, but what has worked well, I'll give them the flowers because they deserve it. And Ghana's really made a lot of impact in the past, I'll say 3-4 years since 2019, except for the COVID period. But yeah.
I'm going to come back to you, Emeka. I'm going to ask a different call to make that happen. The summarized version.
That's a serious question. Okay, so unemployment is a touchy issue because there are so many factors, and it depends on who the individual is and their environment and etc. But looking at what businesses are and what they stand for, you realize that every business is formed with one idea to promote or pursue a certain mission or make visible or make tangible a goal. So it's either you find your own goal. I'm of the mindset that if you're not finding any company or any goal you can pretty much connect with, or if the environment you're in, it's not working out for you, you need to find a way to change it. Because that's what I did, and that's what I would encourage everyone to do. So I was unemployed back in 2018 during the COVID, just before COVID, and that was hard. That was very hard. And you try applying for multiple roles, you join a ton of clubhouse, chat rooms, stay up all night. And this was when I was back in Accra, Ghana. And you realize that, wow, you start playing because the LA time zone and it's crazy. But you realize that, okay, the borders open up, I could travel. So I traveled. I attended conferences. This is me putting myself out there. Like there are other things you can do aside just sitting back and applying for jobs, or you can start something, you can chase a project. I attended the conference I spoke at twice, and the third time I'm speaking like I spoke there. Like once you start doing things, going to put yourself like in uncomfortable situations, pursuing like a certain mission, and the mission could just be to challenge yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be working for someone else. Money, I mean, obviously you need money to eat. All these things sort of start taking care of themselves, at least from my experience. So I'll say, if there's no mission, either you create one or you keep searching till you find it. But then just try as many things as possible, because I mean, what's life else? What else is life for? I mean, yeah, but to experience it.
I'm going to ask the last question to Tamary.
Is a need to develop ideas and to develop your craft as an artist. So even setting up art courses that can last for like 3 months, and it will be an intensive course where you're learning and you're absorbing information every single day. And these courses can last for like 3 to 6 months. This is where you're developing key talents, and you're also being able to connect with your local community. And there creating a space where you can exchange ideas and benefit from each other's successes and failures, and create a synergy amongst yourself as artists. So I'd say art education. And when you have a solid base for the type of work that you create, when you have a foundation, it's easy to stay rooted in the type of work that you create, because you can get lost with trends. There are a lot of trends in the art world, and everyone is doing what the next person is doing. So I believe when you're rooted in something, when you have an idea, you should stick with that, because that's what's going to get you to the other side in everything that you do.
Okay, I'll provide a more optimistic view on the second question in regards to getting value out of the IP rights. There's becoming less of a reason to have your creative IPs pretty much taken advantage of. There exists the technology now. You can mint your work. The NFTs exist. NFTs actually exist and they work. Like they can be traced, they can be tracked, they're immutable. So really, establish provenance for yourself. There are so many ways you can establish provenance for yourself. Put yourself on social media, promote the work. And I think that's what many artists need to be doing. Because by doing that, you also inspire those around you to start doing the same. You have artists like Emeka Anyadiegwu. He had his art taken to space. And it was on the tip of the Blue Origin spaceship. That's crazy. He's a Ghanaian man. Like me, you understand? And it makes me know that it can be done. Like, Albert is in Harvard. There are so many other Ghanaians in Harvard here. It makes the next person believe, oh, she's like me, she looks like me, I can do it. The tech exists. I'd say more education needs to be put on it. It's still being done. You have leaders. Jack Dorsey has been to Ghana a couple of times. You had Vitalik, the inventor of Ethereum, which is another blockchain. He has been to Ghana. Like, there's a lot of movement happening in Ghana right now, at least from my point of view. So the work is being done, and I think it's for us not to just shy away from the tech and hear it and be like, oh, it sounds techy, or let's embrace it, because that's how we then develop, and that's how we're going to change this. Yeah, so establish provenance and just keep exposing ourselves. Hey, Emeka, wear as much kente as you want to. And yeah, because that's it. Once he wears it, everyone sees it, they like it. Then they're going to Google it. What's this? But once it's an established provenance, you can tell, okay, this is a kente shirt. It was designed by Emeka, and Emeka is like, he's Nigerian. It gives you that much information to even tell you where exactly you got it from. If you want to dig deeper, you know, okay, it's coming from Ghana. This is how we do it. And the tech is advanced now, and it can be applied, it can be used, and it's free for everyone to use. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, so you've heard 4